Welcome, everyone. This is Gaming Series. I am your host, DB Smiley. Doing a live cast this time. So I did three replay casts earlier today. It was the first time I casted in like 2 weeks. It's just been crazy. But very, very excited for this match. We have Regen Retro versus Minion Miners. Massive game in A West. I cannot overstate how competitive this race for the playoffs is here in A West. Right now, Babymakers, Fancy Flightless Foul, they have been pushing the envelope. They're looking pretty safe for those 1-2 seeds, but there's so many flex matches left to play. There's so much uncertainty. We don't know. What we do know, both these teams desperately wanting that win to get to the playoffs. In A West, it is a double round-robin division. Every team plays each other twice. And to that end, very important to get the win both times for the sake of those tiebreakers. Or if nothing else, if you lose one, maybe lose it 1-2, win the next one 2-0. Interesting, a lot of tiebreaker scenarios, very hard to work out. So we're just going to focus on the game, and starting with the draft here on Dragonshire, between Regen Retro and Minion Miners. Taking a look at the maps, we saw Minion Miners, they won the toss. They chose map, which is a bit interesting in this meta. They ban out BOE and Towers of Doom. Regen Retro responds with the Infernal Shrines Volskaya ban. Minion Miners loves those brawly maps, with the two kind of best brawly maps banned out. And with BOE also out, kind of leaves it in an interesting position. So we are going to go and see what happens here on Dragonshire between these two teams, but absolutely massive matchup right now. You know, I run the simulations with 323 Weekly and that. And by the way, 323 Weekly does have a Discord now. I'm gonna go ahead and drop that Discord link in chat if you want to join, keep up with what's going on with 323 Weekly. Going forward, I'm likely to start posting my simulations there, trying to just kind of branch off and form a space where I can handle interviews, where I can see what people want, etc. But already out of the gate, we see the Vikings ban, we see the Gazlo ban. Gazlo is just tearing it up right now. 60% win rate overall in game. Let's see how he's doing specifically here in the Nexus Gaming series. Take a quick little gander. Since his rework and since he has become available, at first he was not doing that well. Got, let's just say, very much overbuffed. Take a look here. Currently 51% win rate only. That's fairly reasonable. Quite a bit lower than I expected. Drop that Discord link. I did, but I will go ahead and drop it again. There you go. May have missed it earlier, so no worries. But there we see the Sylvanas and the ETC ban. What? Are these two teams playing legal? Yuck. We always get ETC and Sylvana. ETC, though, is arguably the only S-tier tank in the game right now, in my mind. He is very much first pick, first ban in almost any situation. Sylvanas, an incredibly strong assassin, definitely something that Minion Miners also likes to play. Ming, the first pick. That is interesting. It left the Rexar up, which was immediately snap blocked by Murderin. Rexar is a very strong hero on this map. Rexar, one of those heroes, when it's played, it's usually played in a good situation. The Ming doesn't really bring wave clear, which is fairly important on this map. It does bring some poke, but I'm just surprised to see that high of a priority on it. But then we also see Lunara, which kind of makes me think the same thing. I know Sir Mac and Cheese likes the hero, but I don't really think of Lunara as a top-tier must-snap pick. I do like Stukov. I do think Stukov's one of the better healers in the game right now, and a good response to the Lunara with his sustained healing. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Ender does on that hero. I always love me some Stukov. Okay, there it is, the Greymane. So they're just going for resets. They're going for blow-ups and resets. Expect them to grab something that can tank and get a really good CC engage, so Stukov can follow up with some kind of root combo. Let's see here. Just trying to make sure I get everything lined up on my end. Next ban coming in, they're going to ban out that Varian, and I was about to suggest just that. Varian, because the taunt lasts so long, it is just, it's hard not to hit the Stukov root combo. And you don't even need root yet. I mean, you can do it even at level 1, at level 7 with Growing Infestation, you can get a ton of value with it. It is just, it's a taunt, then you get that super slow off the Fetid Touch. It's an interesting slow because most slows decay or stay flat. It's a growing slow over time when you hit the W on someone, and then when you pop it, it's a flat slow for a while. Diablo gonna get banned out, and there's the Uther, and I really like that pick from Weskra here. It's a classic response to this amount of burst. However, it then becomes incumbent upon the remaining members of Minion Miners to take as little damage as possible, which on this map, you can get pretty long, drawn-out fights. Uther may not have the mana to sustain that, but I do like the Tyrael providing those shields as well as potentially providing a really good hyper-engage. Could see something that could dive very well with this. If I were to go really off the wall, maybe a double support with a monk, but I don't know. Anubarak, I like that pick with this. Anubarak can hold the target long enough for Stukov to land the root. You got the Entomb, as well as just the ability to double soak from Leoric. I really like this draft coming out from Regen Retro. A little bit more uncertain of the draft from Minion Miners, if I'm honest. I'm open to being proven wrong here, but... And then the Rexar, I think, will win the top lane. I don't foresee any difficulties there.
Here we go again.
Chromie. My problem is this. With Chromie, she's very good at whittling people down and making them back off in really long poke encounters, but Uther's not really good in that situation. Uther wants to be aggressive. He wants quick, short, fast fights. Now, the Chromie, of course, is exceptional on this map with the time traps around the points, with those choke points, but if they get into a long, drawn-out encounter with the poke of the Li Ming, I am worried about the Uther's ability to keep the rest of the team up. Uther is healing a lot better now than he used to be. I am a big Uther fan at the moment, but I like him on maps with generally quicker engages, things like BOE, things like Infernal Shrines. You tend to want to engage quickly to get control of space. Not as much these slower point control objective maps, but we'll see if I'm wrong. If you ask me right now, I like Regen Retro's draft better, but we'll see what happens as we introduce the teams. On the left, Regen Retro, Hunter X on Li Ming, Aaron on Leoric, Zami Bars on Anubarak, got Potato on Greymane, and Ender on Stukov. It is Regen Retro, and on the right side, it is Minion Miners. We have Marshall on that Chromie, Himibo on the Tyrael, Murderin is going to be on Rexar, Weskra on Uther, and Sir Mac of Cheese on Lunara. You can see Rexar immediately rotating up to the top. Let's take a look at those level 1 talents. Beetle build coming out from the Anub. I like that pick. He got the Chromie. It's just there to intercept the shots until she gets pierced at 18. It is a really good tool to have in front of the team in team fights. You got the spell armor coming out from Li Ming, making her just really hard for Chromie to get finishes on. Reactive Ballista Spores, I think, is a pretty standard talent at this point on Stukov. I have always been a fan of Fetid Touch, but with the amount of mobility on the other team, unless you're stacking against Rexar, you're probably not going to stack too reliably, so I think that's the better pick. I can always see an argument for Spine Launcher here as well, but... you know, I think it's a good talent choice here. Leoric interesting going Oswin Renewal rather than the increased skeletal swing, which is often popular with double soak Leo builds, or the I am blanking. What is his other level 1? Wow, my brain has forgotten Leo's talent build, and I used to play him so much. It's not block. It's... I don't know. I'm tired. Oh well. It's gone. Of course, Rexxar should win this top lane, as you would expect. At least be able to control the shrine more reliably. And if Minion Miners can get onto the point like they are right now, it gives them an opportunity. Right now, Stukov working on this Bruiser. And the nice thing is, and this would be a downside of going Spine Launcher, Stukov can do a lot of damage to the Bruiser camp. He can't if he goes Spine Launcher. That's going to force a noob to rotate mid, currently soaking the lane, but that means that now Minion Miners, I love this call. Rather than try to force the early DK, which wouldn't get a lot of value anyway, they're just going to siege up and get control of this bottom lane. But here comes the flank from the Anubarak. There's the Silence looking for Uther. Greymane dives in, turns around, stunned there. There's Chromie throwing out the W, trying to peel them out, and does find the space for Wesker to go away. But Wesker, no health, no mana, gonna have to hearth. Even a tap wouldn't make a difference at this point. So that should be bottom now controlled by the members of Regen Retro. Regen Retro gonna look at this bottom Bruiser camp as well. So this is some really good camp rotations out of Regen Retro. Some strong macro play at the moment as they now are pressuring this Rexxar out, who is low mana, with this Bruiser camp. Now about to get another Bruiser camp in the bottom. Tyrael trying to contest the middle. A new Burrow charges in, and they still control the middle. And now with this extra camp pressure, they can start looking maybe to find this cap. As Sir Mac and Cheese has to rotate top. No, he's going to stay here. Make sure they're there to interrupt. So 3v2 in the bottom at the moment. We'll see if Stukov and Anub can hold it. Li Ming rotating down. Here comes Hunter X. Good flank orb. Gets quite a bit of damage onto that Uther. Very, very intense brawling so far. That said, all those camp rotations ultimately did not generate the macro pressure yet in this bottom lane that Minion Miners got just by crying havoc and letting slip the hogs and or dogs of war. Whatever farm animal of war, Lana. I'm excited for this, though. This, again, A-West, right now the bottom two are not keeping up. Fox and his carries and Running Wild. Running Wild's actually eliminated from the playoffs. Fox and his carries, very long shot, but that leaves 5 teams for 4 slots. You look at it, you gotta think Baby Makers makes it. Fancy Flightless Foul has really been on fire. You gotta think they make it. So that's now looking at Minion Miners, Regen Retro, and Forge the winning condition. 3 teams, 2 spots. That means the importance of this game cannot be overstated. It's vital not just to get the points, but to get the tiebreaker opportunities. That's the big key. Because I think it's even likely there might be tiebreakers needed. So now. Bottom has once again been capped by Regen Retro. Himibo thinking of invading for this, or not Himibo, Azimbo was thinking of invading for this. Maybe could have gone in, but the rest of the team could have collapsed, I think, pretty quickly. I think it was the right decision to back off and not force that too hard. Chromie with a good Slowing Sands placement, but man, that Li Ming spell armor is just denying Chromie so much damage, as are these beetles. Great place to put the Slowing Sands. That should almost guarantee secure them the point. Ooh, Wesker takes a big orb to the face there. Meanwhile, Leo trying to cap top against this Misha. Is sustaining fairly well for the time being, but we got a 4v4 down here in the bottom. Himibo, very aggressive on this Tyrael. Not able to find a kill yet. Stukov doing a good job healing this out, but Stukov's mana is low. As is Uther's, granted, but Uther definitely has a bit more mana and actually has the tap. Doesn't not look like Stukov has the tap at the moment. And I do love that blue Stukov skin. I think it's the Admiral. Is that? No, that's not the Admiral Krakenov. That's just normal blue Stukov. I love Admiral Krakenov. That is a great skin. But so is the G.I. Joe skin. Stukov has great skins. Let's just be honest. Stukov is a fun hero. The new Burrow charges in, looks for something, doesn't find it. And meanwhile, they hold the point long enough for Luna to sneak mid and grab the soak. while this 4-man is pushing. Himibo, nice use of the Judgment to get out of there. That said, it is a Judgment, not a Sanctification, into this Entomb combo. I'm surprised that's the choice over Sanctification. If you have that and they get a good Entomb, especially onto someone like Uther, maybe who can't get away, or Chromie, you can really shut down that big burst of damage that comes off the Entomb. Still, I think maybe they just want the extra initiation. It is the primary way to beat Stukov is very fast kills. Stukov, of course, needs time to get his heal out for it to pop and get that burst.
That beast is not my beloved.
So it's not a bad call, and I will say I'm happy to see Uther taking D-Shield, as it will certainly enable a big save in case anyone gets root comboed or gets rewind comboed maybe by a noob. And of course you have Lunara, who's going to very much help break anyone out of Cocoon that gets caught in. But once again, Regen Retro, they're doing a good camp rotation here. It looks like they're going to go Bruiser, Siege, Bruiser. On the other hand, Wesker now capping the Bruiser camp for the top lane. Leo, though, going to be able to do some double soak and actually maybe looking for the pickoff onto Rexar there. And there is the Entomb silence. Rexar never had a chance. That was a very quick kill by the members of Regen Retro. That said, not quick enough to rotate down and contest this siege camp. But a chance to get level 13s first here. Both teams soaking very well at the moment. I will give them that credit, but I really like Minion Miner's aggressive push here. And now a noob is on the back line looking for Marshall. There's the silence. Cocoon comes out. That isn't Uther, though. I don't think Uther's too worried, but here comes the Judgment onto Stukov just to make sure the silence can't land. Of course, you know, the common combo with this Anub. Ooh, Anub is so low, he's not going to get out. The poison damage is going to secure the kill, and now Ender might be the next to fall. He takes a Dragon's Breath. No, but Lunara gets taken out by the Siege Giants with some help from Leoric. Big Entomb forces them forward. Weskra is going to go down. And I think Weskra had Divine Shield in hand there, but just wasn't quite able to get it off.
There must always be a Dragon Knight.
Wesker also now locking that level 13. Not going to take the extra healing with the Q at 13. Instead, focusing on weakening an enemy hero. Makes sense to try to nerf that Greymane damage. But now a pretty even game, despite that early DK going in favor of Minion Miners. And now it looks like Minion Miners kind of stuck in that position. You want to avoid getting stuck in mid here. But that might be exactly what happens as Greymane's going for the channel completely uncontested. And that is a very quick Dragonite. Do they get this kill onto Stukov to counter? Lunara gets kicked away. Ooh, Zamibars is so low, as is Ender. But Tyrael not going to be able to secure the kill. Has to break Uther out. Now this DK going very aggressive. It wants a fort. It's going to kick the Uther away. Gets the front wall down, burning down the minions. Rest of the team looking like they're heading bot. They want this Uther. There's the combo. Uther is slowed. Pops the D-shield. But I don't know if that's going to be enough to get away. Sir Makachi's too low. Step up. It is enough to get away with the help of that tower wall. Good disengage there by Wesker. Good D-shield. D-shield is just such a good ultimate. I see so many Uthers taking D-Storm lately. And I get it. Ooh, Leo stepping in, finds a big Entomb, but the silence immediately gets interrupted, and it's Leo who is going to go down, and now the chase is on for Minion Miners. Chromie all over Ender, but now has to back up. Repulsion's going to knock away Marshall from that chase, but I don't know if Potato's going to get away. He is low. The poison damage is going to secure his kill. He's trying to back, but he is not going to get it off. 2 kills there for Minion Miners. Now let's see what they can do with this on the map. There won't be an objective up for a brief period. There's not a lot of camps available either. Can they at least maybe take this bottom fort? You'd maybe want to see them go that direction. Try to open up this primary push lane on this map. This is, in Dragonshire, the most likely lane to end on bottom. because of the push power those Siege Giants bring, the fact that you can get 3 camps into the lane. Instead, though, they take their Siege. Now this Siege is available, but Greymaine's going to be up in 3, and nobody really pushed into it on the side of Minion Miners. Now maybe thinking about it. But Tyrael and Uther still not here, and Uther looking like he needs to soak the mid. There is a fort down at the moment for Minion Miners. That does give a passive XP buff over to the side of Regen. Retro, here comes the focus. They want to get onto Tyrael. Tyrael drops the self-silence just to try to scare the Tyrael away. Excuse me, Stukov drops the self-silence. Marshall kind of had to rotate weird through the Bruiser camp there. Himibo is playing incredibly aggressive at the moment. Trying to almost just get vision for his artillery in the back. He's a recon unit, and Marshall is the howitzer here in this situation. But a really good game so far. I mean, these teams both playing like really kind of interesting styles, hard to play against. You got, of course, the pretty standard burst combo inside of Regen Retro. On the other hand, you just have so much chaos, I think, coming out on the side of Minion Miners. And we'll see if that helps them. They currently have about half a level lead, but for the 3rd time, it looks like Regen Retro is going to take this bottom Bruiser uncontested. Murderin does have control of that top lane, so that's going to help when Leo shows mid. You'd expect to see Rexar come up and get this soak. XP fairly even right now. Structure count, of course, favoring Regen Retro. We'll see what happens. I should note we did not get holy ground here. Himibo moves in onto Hunter, blinks out. Ooh, gets rooted on the blink back, though. Nifty play there by Ender. Very nifty play. 4v4 here in the bot. Himibo going in. Oh, gets interrupted out of Judgment. He's going to go down. But can he blow up onto Ender and get some value? He does blow up onto some enemy heroes. Ender is low. That's going to shorten his respawn timer only to 37 seconds. And if Uther can help secure this kill onto Ender, it might be worth it. Now Zammy Bars is low, trying to run away from this Uther. There's the turnaround. They're putting the pings onto Stukov, but it's a Nubarak who's going to be the next to drop. Uther, though, does go down, but now has the Ghost Heals. Can they get the kill on a Potato? It looks like they're going to do. Ender does get the pop, gets the pop off, but Lunara is still all over this. Lunara now. Sir Mac and Cheese, can he get both kills? No, they go for the throat, secures the kill. What an insane situation. I love the Stukov managing to save the Greymane there. Does die in the process, but that was so close to being able to just kill that Lunara and somehow survive. Difficult situation all told, but you get the trade out and reduce this, what could have been a 4v1 or 4v2 down to a 3v2. That certainly limits what Minion Miners can do. Can't really do too much, but they can get the DK, and now they have level 20, and that's what it's all about. Fuck the hokey pokey. It's about the Dragonite. Bulwark of Light gonna be the choice. Piercing Sands, of course, makes sense. Pretty standard. Upgraded Judgment, so going with that, a big increase on the cast range and huge increase on the cooldown. Look for some nifty plays coming out here, and I would not want to be Stukov right now. As this DK does manage to kick someone away. Misha has gone down. Anubarak, though, is kicked away. They're gashing. They do break it out. Now Himibo could go back in. Might look for a Judgment under the tower. A bit risky. Looks like Minion Miners going to blink back. But that said, they have the top fort down, the bottom fort down, and mid is extremely low. But Regen Retro, they want to invade this. They want to get aggressive. That said, that slowing sand is going to be very hard to invade into, and I like the decision by Zammy Bars just walking out of that one. Leo gets back to the double soak. Level 20 is here. We got the Hardened Shield. Rather than the rewind from a noob, just feeling like he's getting blown up a bit too much. But there's the Buried Alive, and that is going to be such a great tool. If Divine Shield is down, that is going to be critical. And then what is that called? Tower Shot. That's it. Tower Shot's elements. Stukov going with so that is I love that Stukov 20. It's a bit interesting to pair with the Virulent Reaction. because what it does is it detonates your silence when you pop trait, regardless whether or not they're weighted pustule. But the silence goes with them for 2 seconds. It's a really big tool. It's like a mini wailing arrow when you get it right, and looks like they didn't quite get it right there. Oh, but here's the big entomb. It takes out Misha. Divine Shield is available. Bulwark of Light hits 4. But it looks like the rest of the team just had the mindset of retreating there. Cocoon comes out. Lunara was unable to turn around with the rest of the team. This is a 4v5. Aaron very low. Here comes the engage. Are they going to get the finish? Lunara does. The leaping strike gets the kill. But that said, top fort has gone down for Minion Miners to this Bruiser camp.
Take hold of the shrine.
Uther currently channeling the point. It is some Uther on Stukov action. There comes the judgment, but Ming is here to follow up. Here comes Chromie. Ooh, Chromie gets engaged on by the Anubarak. Has to blow the timeout, but I don't know if Marshall is going to get out of this one. The time trap comes out. He does pop it. He's trying to buy space. Li Ming on the chase. Hunter X not able to find the kill, but that Chromie is going to have to back. Can they get the channel in time? No, they cannot. Bottom point neutralized, and now goes over to the side of Regen Retro. Sunshine currently belonging to Minion Miners, however. And once again, 4th time this game, they have just been taking this camp almost on cooldown, and it feels like Minion Miners just doesn't have really a response to that kind of bot lane pressure. Both teams, though, now down their forts. There are no forts left standing, so you gotta watch for a catapult stack. If your catapult gets stacked behind your minion wave, it will help substantially, and it will force an enemy rotation to clear. There is the Cocoon, was trying to get onto Uther. Now here comes the engage, looking for the Buried Alive. It's onto Uther, and he can't find the space to get the Divine Shield out, and because he went for the Bulwark of Light, they do not have Uther coming back. They try to force this fight while they have the Uther Ghost Heals, but even those have ended. And that is a big opportunity for Regen Retro to try to get control of this map and maybe see if they can get a DK. They are going to invade this siege camp. And it is 5 people here. The Slowing Sands, though, splitting the enemy team. And it is Leark who's going to go down. Tyrael got low, does manage to blink out. Anub has nowhere to go, and Anub is going to go down. That Slowing Sands just wreaking havoc. And now it's Greymane who's going to fall. That is 3 kills in a 4v5 situation. Great job by Minion Miners. And now a chance to turn this entire game into a finish. They're going to cap bot. They're going to send Chromie mid. Chromie needs to get this channel quickly. And if they do, they can run this DK... let's see, where's the best lane? It's never top lane, so there's no point in looking there. Looks like bottom's a bit more softened up. They're going to have the Siege Giants there as well. I think that's where they'll take it. That's the standard play. Keep an eye on this. This is a very menacing push here. They can get this keep down very quickly. I don't know if they'll be able to go core in time unless they get some kills, but Stukov, without the Anubarak to peel, is in a very precarious situation here. Needs to be incredibly careful. The Judgment could come in and isolate Stukov right now, but it hasn't yet. And now Stukov able to rotate to a bit safer pastures. He was tucked away in this corner. I think a Judgment there really could have ended that. DK, though, they're turning their attention onto the core, but that said, there is a 5-man defense here. Stukov does get the silence onto Misha. This DK chunking the core. It's down to 65%. Chromie is now out of the DK. Stukov flailing swipe, knocking him away from the core. Core is down to 25%. Lunara gets over the top, and I think she's going to do it. She does, and Minion Miners takes game number 1 in an epic back-and-forth map. Great, great job. So, what an excellent game here. It is Minion Miners going to come out on top here on Dragonshire. We'll see how Regen Retro chooses to respond. Let's take a look at those post-game stats. Stukov, healing well. But I didn't really see any very impactful root combos that game. It felt like they weren't able to stay on the same page with Zami, because it felt like every time Zami went in, Tyrael got onto the back line. Stukov had to pop a heal because someone ate a Chromie combo. Yeah, Hunter X was playing great. I mean, but it just came down to, I think, That one fight over the siege camp, 5v4, they try to fight through the slowing sands for a siege camp that otherwise I think would have been fairly inconsequential. And that fight forces Regen Retro into a situation where they have to have an emergency defensive core, and it did not work. So, with that, we will be right back today. By the way, quick reminder, go vote. I just voted today. Make a plan to vote. I recommend, if you're able to vote early. The lines tend to be shorter. Usually the first round of early voting, it gets really crowded, and then after that, it calms down significantly until Election Day. So get out there, go vote. And with that, we will be right back. Stay tuned, and thank you all so much for watching. I always enjoy doing this. All right, everyone, welcome back to the next gaming series. DB Smiley here. Big back and forth game number one between these two teams. Minion Miners ultimately taking the win on the map they chose, Dragonshire. Regen Retro, though, says, hey, how many more maps can they have? They choose to take first pick. Minion Miners taking them to Alterac Pass. Feels like there can be a lot of similarity in some ways between D-Shire and Alterac Pass. A lot of it's about splitting effectively, making sure not to get caught up in the moment and forget soak. So there's some similarities there. I mean, otherwise there's not a single objective point on Dragonshire like there is on Alterac, but still nonetheless a lot of emphasis on making sure soak is gotten. Looks like we're getting some readies in chat, so we should be able to jump into this draft fairly soon. Taking a quick look at the standings, though. I mean, Minion Miners now at 12 points. Regen Retro at best could tie with the 2-1 victory, but that would be a very good boon for them to get. Remember, only 4 teams in A West are going to make the playoffs, and there's really 5 teams vying for it. And if Minion Miners can get a domination victory here, they're going to move up into that upper echelon that's a little bit more safe. Starting to look at Regen Retro in fortune winning condition, maybe playing for that last lifeboat. But there are still so many flex matches remaining in A West. Anything could happen, it feels like. You got to think Baby Makers is fairly safe. You got to think Fancy Flightless Fowl's pretty safe. Until they aren't. Fancy Flightless Fowl looked out of it early. It looked like it was going to be a runaway top 4 seeds, leaving Fancy Flightless Fowl behind. They have kicked it into another gear. But here we go into the draft on Alterac Pass. I mean, keep an eye on the A West playoff race is all I'll see. If you see anything, any match between the top 5 in A West, check it out. Definitely give it a watch. You can see right now Vikings getting banned out. Lucio was banned out first by Regen Retro. Have not banned out the Gazlo yet. Are they maybe thinking it, or are they thinking the same Gaz map? Or maybe they're thinking they don't play Gaz. If it's up, you think it's possible for a first pick. Next hero ban to come. Here we go. ETC going to be the ban. So sticking with that S tier tank ban. Keeping Zammy off of the cow. Which sounds like a euphemism, but I swear it's not. Waiting for that first pick. 12 seconds to go, so we should get it soon. Gotta think what's on the table. Maybe Gazlo. They went with the Li Ming pretty early last time, and I thought Hunter X played it well. Li Ming is also very good on this map, but they're gonna prioritize Faustad, which has been interesting a priority. Faustad was always pretty prevalent in this game, but I feel like he's become a fairly rare sighting this season. Certainly relative to what he used to be. Yeah, only a 9% popularity, but maybe that's because of that 43% win rate. Definitely brings the global pressure, but definitely feels like Faustad has fallen off. Sir Mac and Cheese is just going to roll the dice on Lunara again. You get the Ragnaros. This is actually a good rag map because of the lava wave, because it enables you to soak while hard pushing for the objective. It's just an incredibly valuable tool on the other side. It also lets you get macro pressure in a side lane while you're pushing the objective. You can lava wave the lane opposite the one the objective is near. We got that's a Garrosh Deathwing. So normally when you pick Deathwing, you're looking at the enemy team and you're saying their whole comp is get big CC, they don't have any percent damage, just get big CC and get a kill, and we'll just go Deathwing so they can't do that. I don't really see what the Deathwing brings here yet. Maybe it's something that, we anticipate what they want to do, or we really want this Deathwing, and we're worried about getting banned. The Ana ban makes all the sense in the world. It's a denial. Okay, well then that makes sense. If they deny the Faustad from Minion Miners. Chromie is going to get banned out. I think that's absolutely a fair ban. Although I would note Marshall was the one who played the Chromie last time. And Marshall is on Rag. Now, presumably, Murdering could switch in. Marshall could grab the Chromie. 2 picks to come here for Minion Miners. We're going to see their comp take a lot more shape. That is a Tychus, so that is a solo lane Rag. And a May. The Mei can slow the Garrosh. True. If the Mei gets thrown, the Mei has Ice Block. True. You deny the Tychus from the Garrosh comp. True. But right now, to me, they don't have enough hard CC to justify the Tychus to hold someone still long enough for Tychus to shoot his whole load into their face. And there was the CC support I was thinking of, was the Stukov getting taken away, as well as the Rainer, which I really like this comp, but where's their burst damage with the Garrosh? Where's their burst damage that... They have no CC on the side of Minion Miners. It is all Mei, and they have a Tychus. I mean, granted, it's against Deathwing, right? You're not going to get any CC value there, and Garrosh can also limit the CC. So maybe their thought is just do as much damage as we can as fast as possible. They're gonna have Earth Ally against the Rainer. I think that's good. This is an interesting draft. Both these drafts, I'm kind of trying to piece together what the goal is. And I'm not entirely sure, if I'm completely honest. We got Murderin on Tychus. Let's see. Or hang on, sorry. Okay, we did actually have a little bit of a swap there. Potato moving over to the Rainer. All right, let's go ahead and introduce these teams again. On the left side, Hunter X does have that legendary status, but on the left side, let's go ahead and introduce Regen Retro. It's going to be Hunter X on that Deathwing. You got Aaron on Falstad, Zammy Bars on Garrosh, Potato on Rainer, and Ender on Stukov. Once again, after the last game. On the other side, Minion Miners. Marshall is on the Ragnaros heading to the top lane. You got Murderin on Tychus, Himibo on the Mei, Sir Mackercheese once again on Lunara, and Weskra moving into that Monk. And what kind of Monk is it? It is a Transcendence Monk. Now, I kind of like that. Even if Garrosh throws Monk, Monk can dive back in. Monk should be able to pretty easily punch Deathwing and Garrosh in order to get a lot of healing value. I'm a big fan of Cleansing Touch here at 16. I think it could just be massive value. Tychus currently clearing the mid lane. Here comes the rotation, though. Needs to be a bit careful. Does manage to back up. Up in the top, Weskra starts to move into the camp. Monk can absolutely solo this camp when Monk goes Transcendence. But Transcendence Monk doesn't clear it very quickly. As compared to the Exterminator Rainer, I should say. Monk is still clearing. But Nat hasn't really taken much damage. Again, expect to see Earth Ally at level 4 there, which will certainly limit that Rainer damage. And Stukov, by the way, does good auto attack damage too to whoever gets flipped, so could help limit that as well. Tyke is currently in the bottom, potentially looking at a rotation. Falstad is a bit low, but gets a big heal from Stukov. Should be able to challenge this Tychus in the lane again. As the Fire Bats crash here in the middle, looks like it's Minion Miners Fire Bats that are going to win out. And now continuing to push. Rainer needs to be a bit careful here. Has to take a weird angle, but still gets stunned anyway. Not really much follow-up there at the moment as Tychus is away. Couldn't really... if Tychus were there, maybe the minigun comes out, but Tychus is kind of solo laning here. Although now, seeing the swap, Lunara coming down, Tychus going to grab a tap-tap-taparoo. And now start to look to rotate top, interestingly. Are they going to try to maybe just chunk down Deathwing a bit so Deathwing can't join this fight? At least got one scale off, but now needing to rotate down. Neither team really drafting much in the way of poke to prevent a cap. You got Tychus Grenade. Lunara can use her Q, but there's not a ton of poke. That isn't Earth. That isn't Earth. It's Spirit Ally. Huh. Into a Rainer. Huh. Right now, Tychus doing pretty good, getting this Falstad chunk down a bit. Neither team really making a play for the objectives, instead making sure to keep their soak up, making sure to get their fire bats in the lane. Fire bats should get cleaned up here before they do too much damage for minion miners. That means their fire bats will then have to be cleared by the members of Retro. Stugov doing a good job getting heals out, and targeted excision, yes. Yes, my child. Yes. Targeted excision. Targeted excision is one of my favorite talents in the game. That is a monk. He gets thrown over the wall, but just Radiant dashes on out of there. And these fire bats starting to get a bit of value, and Tychus has got the Falstad kill down in the bottom. Finally punishes. The poison damage will take out that tower, and minion miners now with an opportunity to look for this channel. But there is Zammy. Wesker diving in onto Ender. Tychus getting some good damage. Ooh, and Rag has finished that Q quest pretty early in the game, 4.5 minutes in. And that is going to make him a very, very dangerous threat. I love how aggressive Wesker is being with this Transcendence Monk. You have to be that aggressive to get the healing value. But now Garrosh gets the double stun, flips Lunara out. Lunara does not have a leaping strike yet. Blows, Wesker blows Medallion there to keep walking away. They're going to be able to walk away and tap. Wesker might even need to Hearth. No, going to just tap. Try to re-engage. Garrosh starting to clean this up. Here comes Deathwing down. They have 5, and they are committing to this objective. They get the channel, and it is 28 seconds and counting. Rag, meanwhile, still pushing the top, banking on the idea that he will get more value with this split push than potentially the enemy team will get with the objective. It is a 5v4, but credit to minion miners. They are actually managing to push back the members of Retro, and Retro backed up. Rainer was a bit low on mana. Stukov was definitely on mana. Now has the tap. Falstad flying top, but Rag is just getting so much value up here, and you gotta think maybe they needed to stick around, be a bit more aggressive. Yeah, I agree with you, Dankstrom. I was surprised to see the Earth, or the what is it called? It's not Spirit Ally. No, it is Spirit Ally. Air Ally is the one I was. It's not. Yeah, I like the Earth Ally here. Maybe their thought is they just want to be able to use it for out of combat healing. Is their thought process? I mean, Monk doesn't have the best out of combat healing. Oh wow, Zammy getting chased down, and the poison damage plus that last May auto attack enough to secure the kill. There is the Draken Laser getting so much value. It is 7-sided strike coming out from the Stukov. That percent damage for the Garrosh, for the Deathwing. Tychus definitely going to get a ton of value into those two heroes who rely so heavily on their armor and their HP pulls, but man. All right. Now, so I'm going to clean up this top lane, but here come the cavalry. Top lane's going to draw all of Falstad's attention, especially with the fort already down. Potential for a catapult to get stacked up behind the minion wave if they're not careful. Down on the bottom is where the focus is right now for Retro, as they look to clean up the first cavalry unit in the bottom. Rag also just going with that full standard cube. Ooh, stun there onto Wesker. Needs to be careful. May does get spotted out. Might need to use the ice block. No, gets taunted, and she is going to go down. Not able to get that ice block up. May not have been available. Looked like May wanted to do something with an avalanche. Maybe a solo avalanche into like a 7-sided strike. Something like that. But in either case, it didn't work. And now Dragon Laser has been used to peel. But that said, this whole time, this top cavalry unit has just been running it down top lane. And it's starting to get some real damage onto this keep wall. The gate has gone down. We do have the lava wave from Ragnaros. Looks like Firebat can't going to be picked up by Retro Firebats. It's not being picked up at the moment by Minion Miners. They're actually turning their attention onto this boss. Surprised this Spirit ally didn't end up in this bush here, just to grant some vision. Rag is stepping up very aggressively, but may be caught out now by this Garrosh. Garrosh is going to go for the throw flip. Here comes Tychus now, turning his attention. Ooh, good snowball to peel the Garrosh away from the team as they focus and finish the boss. And just the right amount of stall from Minion Miners. They keep burning the boss effectively. They know, or they trusted, I should say, that they could save Rag. Worked out quite well. Now here we go. Rag finishing his globe quest. That's a couple quests down, and now the turn onto this top boss. It will push in the lane that the camp's going to spawn in, which means it won't get as much value as it could if it were opposite, but this is still a good situation. Something worth noting about the asymmetry of this map, and I don't like it for this reason. I would much prefer this map were horizontally symmetrical rather than radially, and it's because you can only channel this camp from one side, whereas the camp over here you can channel from all sides, and I just think that's... I don't know if that's intentional, but it seems unnecessarily unbalanced. It feels like you have such an advantage when you're defending on the side where, you know, you can channel here. Minion Miners is playing just an absolutely excellent macro at the moment. Ooh, they're going in for this. Deathwing actually just cataclysming out of there. Raynor still burning down this boss, which has gotten through the keep wall. It will finally fall. Meanwhile, though, Minion Miners was not able to get any channel progress. Hunter X, though, is extremely low. Tychus gets thrown into the back. Silence, though, doesn't come down in time. There's the 7 side. It's going to put Garrosh on. Flailing Swipe, trying to buy space, but now Falstad is on the wrong side of the enemy. He throws the Mighty Gust back in, but he's going to get isolated. He's going to go down. Avalanche, though, doesn't collect anyone, and Lunara is going to fall as well. 1-for-1 trade. Both teams losing one assassin. But with Rag now in this fort, looks like Monk should be able to get this channel. And that is a big advantage now for Minion Miners, as now they get to play defense. Here we go. Stukov trying to get the snap channel. Deathwing trying to buy space for it. May with a good placement of that stun. There's the Horrify knocking out Monk away. Keep in mind, Monk's mana is extraordinarily low right now. And there's a big 2-man root, but everyone was already running away. There was no chance to really get the engage. They did at least stop the channel for the time being. May trying to get the channel once again. There's the taunt, but no, it's going to get turned around onto Garrosh, who does get finished off there before Monk goes down. Monk has absolutely no mana, but can still punch to heal. And that may be an asset here, but Murderin gets caught out, and he gets taken down. And so now, the last seconds tick off the clock, and this will be the second cavalry wave coming from Minion Miners, and they got a lot done with that first wave and after with their macro. Already 2 forts down. Bottom fort will absolutely die. There's practically no way to save it. So now it comes down to, are they going to be able to get a keep with this? Keep wall is down top, but it looks like they're going to turn their attention bottom. Looks like, if I had to guess, Retro, they want to clear mid, then top, then bot. The Lava Wave clearing the way for this camp, and I really like this macro because you're forcing the split decision here. But that means this bot... Minion Miners is playing this, I think, perfectly. They're forcing the response top, and now they're just pushing bottom. Deathwing coming on the flank, but found by a Tychus who starts minigunning into the Deathwing. Gets the first shell of armor down. Deathwing gets the taunt. There's a big 3-man snowball. The cavalry unit is down, however. Now all cavalry down. And there's 7-sided on the Garrosh. He takes a lot of damage. Are they going to get that finish onto Zammy? Zammy's health bar is entirely yellow. Now Ender's in a bad spot. Uses the flailing swipe, but the Draken laser might secure the kill. No, Ender able to get away and save the Garrosh. Monk is going to go down. This is an opportunity for Regen Retro, but there's so much damage now. Hunter X cannot get healed by Stukov. Hunter X is going to go down, and that is a 1-for-1 trade. And here comes Falstad. Watch for this flank gust coming in by Aaron. Goes in, finds Rag, but 1-for-1 trade at the moment. Not sure if maybe the Gust was not available. Maybe didn't have the mana for the dash to get away. Still got a 1-for-1 trade, and arguably trading Rag at this point is very valuable, given Rag's macro pressure.
Let's take him back.
But now we head into the next objective phase. Minion Miners has won the first 2. They are looking to close out this series. They're looking to close out this series with the domination. Regen Retro desperately trying to take this to game 3. They're making sure to check this bottom boss. Don't want to have anyone from Minion Miners on it. There is a Wisp giving vision. Rainer starts to work on this. Deathwing can come down. Falstad can fly down. May gonna maybe look for the big snowball here for the boss steal. And I think recognizing this, Regen Retro wisely deciding to back off. They're trying not to let it leash, though. Deathwing steps up, and we're going to get a 5v5 in the bottom for this. There's the snowball, but I think it came out too early. The boss still rather healthy at the moment. Now, though, Falstad is going to get caught out. Can they finish this boss on the side of Regen Retro? They at least get the boss. There's the Warlord's challenge. Can they get that big boss stun, maybe to secure some kills? They get the stun onto May, but I think they're going to lose a lot here. Oh, they lost 4 heroes. Oh boy, and even though they get the boss, at what cost? At what cost? Now, you got an uncontested fire. The fire bat's probably going to die. You got a big push mid, you got the lava wave top, that's going to get soaked. Level 20 is here for Minion Miners, and they're going to cap the objective, 47 seconds. There will be one opportunity, I think, for Regen Retro to look for the fight and to get this game to a Series 3, but they have to take that fight down. Level 20s. That is a tough haul for anyone. You got the 11-sided strike, you got the upgraded Ice Block Flash Freeze, you got the Lava Wave upgrade for even more macro control, the Poison upgrade for even more damage, and Tychus going with that triple dash. Gonna make him very, very slippery, very elusive. And with 14 seconds left, I don't even think Regen Retro is going to be able to try for this. 5 seconds, that is it. And this is a dire, dire situation on the side of Regen Retro. Looks like the focus will be here into the bot lane. Lava Wave will not be available for 30 seconds. Monk is coming up to join the team, where it looks like we're going to get one last 5v5. Falstad going to try to go for that Fly Gust. I think it's being anticipated on the side of Minion Miners. Regen Retro can't even walk away to soak 20. The lanes haven't pushed in far enough yet, so they're going to have to start this defense at minimum without the critical level 20 talent. Deathwing comes down. Gonna take a bit of damage here. 4v5 at the moment. Falstad desperately trying to soak 20s. Oh, Hunter X is in a bad spot. The 11-sided strike secures the kill. And now it might just be math, as the core has lost 2 shells of armor. The Ragnaros is coming down, and this core is dropping. Falstad might be able to get one last big Mighty Gust off to buy space, maybe for the kill. Maybe gust them into the wall. There's the big taunt. Can they secure it? No, and Minion Miners is going to take a 2-0 victory in this series. They are going to help themselves secure their playoff position. It's going to really help them out. And that leaves Regen Retro down, looking at their matches with Forge the winning condition. They've already played once in Regen Retro. I believe won 2-0. 2-1 or 2-0. I can't remember, but I do know Regen Retro won. I don't think they've played the reverse fixture yet. So that's going to be a very, very critical match as we head down the stretch, looking at where teams are going to end up, which teams are going to make the playoffs, and which are going to be left out. But we're going to see if we can get a post-game interview for Minion Miners. We'll be right back, everyone. Thank you all so much, and take care. And by the way, if you're interested, I am still doing 323 Weekly this weekend, looking to do a some interviews with some bubble teams. We might have one of those bubble teams here. If you're interested, dropping the Discord link for the 323 Weekly Discord. That's where I'll post schedule, highlights, things like that. So with that, we're going to take a brief break. We'll be right back for a post-game interview. Stay tuned. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am your host, DB Smiley, and I'm joined by the sounds of the home of Himibo. Himibo, how you guys feeling after that match?
Whoop, whoop. I'm feeling pretty pumped, Smiley, actually. I've been watching, I don't know if the audience knows Tyler 1, been watching a lot of Tyler 1, so been, feeling jacked right now.
Yeah, I mean, this was a really big match for you guys insofar as the playoff picture goes. Of course, in Division A West, it's a double round robin division, which means only 4 teams make playoffs. You finding yourselves with Regen Retro down at the 3-4 right now. So this domination victory, of course, buying you some precious space. What are your goals heading down the rest of the season? Right now, in theory, you'd be a 3 seed. Where are you trying to get to?
Well, so, I mean, ideally, if we 2-0 everyone, I'm pretty sure we're just guaranteed second place. So second, third would be really nice. From my personal point of view, I do think that anytime we start looking ahead too far is when we start sort of tripping up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I think it's probably best to just focus one series at a time. Sort of a stupid, generic, boring answer, mm-hmm. But I do think it's kind of like actually the best way to go about it. So that's what I'm going to try to focus on.
All right. Well, with that, you guys won the toss, chose map pick. That's a bit unusual these days, especially with as many power heroes as there are. You're talking the Gazlo, you're talking the Diva. Chromie can still be very oppressive at times. Why do you choose map pick over draft pick? Is it unique to the series, or is that a preference you generally have?
So we feel pretty comfortable both ways, to be honest with you. It's not a lot like for today's series in particular, we were actually kind of didn't really know what to do. Ultimately, we chose map pick just because while Gazlo is a power pick, we do think that he's not like something that is super oppressive and like takes over the draft. We felt comfortable enough to want to play into it and see if it was something that maybe we want to ban for later games in the series. As it turned out, Gazlo, and we do think Gazlo is sort of the like S plus tier hero to watch out for. Diva we think is strong, but it's not like previous. So in the last few seasons, we've had to deal with the Orioles being completely busted on the Resurrect, the Deathwing being giga busted. You know, like there's been some like giga busted picks, and we don't feel like there's anything quite that level except for maybe Gazlo. But still, like I said, we feel comfortable enough against the Gazlo that we felt like we could at least try it out at minimum. And if we do map pick, I mean, we feel comfortable on most maps too, but if we choose map pick, it gives us counter last pick, which is actually somewhat valuable. So yeah, that was our reasoning.
Yeah. Well, so map number 1, D-Shire. You guys kind of went with an interesting comp. Was a bit concerned with the fact that you had a Tyrael main tank, and I was kind of worried about ability to get CC to set Chromie up reliably. The Uther, of course, helped with that. But you guys really did a good job, I think, knife fighting with Minion miners. Getting in, getting a trade, getting out. And Tyrael certainly excelling with that with the help of Chromie. But where do you think that game most turned for you guys?
Well, so we lost our healer, Uther, in the bottom lane to an Entomb. And, well, right away you think, well, it's 4v5, like we sort of have to give the map up. But they don't have a Silence Entomb anymore, which is actually a really big ultimate, and they decided to invade the bottom camp. As you pointed out, Chromie doesn't have the easiest time, given we don't have a ton of really hard CC. I mean, we have the Judgment, but and what did they decide to do? They decided to their entire team funnel into a choke with ultimates missing. So they walked over the slowing sands onto our bottom siege camp and just basically allowed Chromie to hit every single skill shot, just dump damage, and they can't run away. Plus, we still had ults up. Really, I think that was the turning point. I mean, it makes sense. They're up 4v5. They think they can do whatever they want. But like I said, it was just the Chromie and the choke that I think turned it.
Now, map number 2, on the other hand, you guys, it wasn't as much a back and forth game. It really was, you guys dominated the macro, you won all 3 objectives. What do you most attribute that success to in that game?
I think that really the Tychus is really a strong pick right now and was really good into their team composition. Not to mention, I did feel like they were lacking damage. I don't see how they were supposed to. I mean, we had the Karazim who doesn't have a lot of healing output, but we didn't feel like there was anybody at super high risk of dying. Like, I mean, the Mei can soak pretty much everything and use her trait to heal it all up. So I really feel like they didn't have enough damage to kill us. And the Tychus, I mean, the bigger they are, is so good against Deathwing. I mean, it's just ridiculously strong because for those that don't know, you can do like 60%, or I don't know if it's quite that. I've done the math. Maybe it's 45%, something like that, of the max HP. If you're able to land every single auto on the bigger they are, given that they're above 30% HP. And that's whenever Deathwing has his highest armor plates. So, I mean, it just shreds him. And then it's not to mention just good against Garrosh, too, because he's at, like, armor base at its percent HP. So their front line can't survive against our front line. We have too much damage. They didn't have enough damage to overcome our front line, and that's basically where the power imbalance was, in my opinion, because our team comp also matched them macro-wise. So once we're matched macro-wise and we can out-team fight, given the team compositions, it's really hard for them.
All right. Well, with that, I mean, you guys took control of that map, took it home, and got the domination victory. So I want to give you one last chance for shout-outs, and I'll let you guys celebrate with your team and or your child.
Oh, yes. I know. I just threw him in a chair so I could play, you know, because we got stuff going on. So it's like, you know what? You won't kill yourself in the chair. You know, it's a lot harder to anyway, so I'll just throw you in the chair and it'll be good. He just watches and stuff. But I'd like to shout out the team, Minion Miners, everybody that watches, even our subs who play and practice with us all the time. Thanks to everybody watching and participating in the NGS community, because I mean, I love NGS, and it is a community thing. And the more people that are invested in watching other teams and watching streamers and just participating, it makes it so much fun for me personally. And then thanks to you, Smiley, of course. Always fun watching your streams, always super entertaining. And what you put up with in the NGS, just there's a lot of shenanigans that go on. So you're a saint truly for, taking any sort of leadership position, let alone 2 seasons in a row. So
not anymore, but nonetheless, that's
either way, I
don't want to discuss it. So no worries. All right. Well, thank you all the same.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And really thank you though. You're awesome.
All right. And thank you again, Hemi both. Thank you, Minion Miners and Retro, for letting me cast this series. And with that, we will see you all next time. I'm going to throw it over to the Crushinator, who is live with some Division D West action. Incredibly competitive division. So